Hi, this is FrecklesG, and in this video I will show you how I was able to solve an error that LibreOffice was giving me when trying to save documents in ODT format. So in this video I will go through two topics. The first one is about the solutions for the ODT error, and the second topic is how you can change the language to LibreOffice. And if you are not familiar with LibreOffice, well, let me tell you that LibreOffice is a free and open source alternative to Microsoft Office, and antiX is an operating system based on Linux Debian. It is a wait-like system which is also free. Without further ado, let's start with this. The error was happening when trying to save documents from LibreOffice Writer, which is comparable to Microsoft Word. However, LibreOffice Writer was giving me the following error. Just let me show you first which version of LibreOffice I have installed here. I have version 7.0.2.2. The error shows whenever we try to save a document in the Open Document Text format, or ODT, which is the LibreOffice default format for documents. And this is the error that is displayed. However, this error does not happen if we use one of the other document formats like DOCX or DOC. You can save the document in one of these formats without any issue. So this is a quick workaround that you also have. Here you just click on the Use Word Format button and the document will be saved. We see here that the document was correctly saved, and we also see a temp file due to the ODT error. Since it couldn't save the first document, it just created an empty temporary file. Okay, so how did I solve this ODT issue? This error seems to be caused by some missing libraries in the LibreOffice installation. Among those libraries, there is one called LibRaptor, and after doing some research, I found that this library had a vulnerability which was fixed back in November 2020. Based on this, we simply just need to install the missing libraries. The installation can be achieved in two ways. The first method is using the package installer included in antiX. To do it this way, we click here and we enter our user password. Then we locate the section called Office. Here we are basically just upgrading our LibreOffice installation. However, there are four options for installing LibreOffice. These two options will install the old LibreOffice, which is version 6, and these two options will install version 7. This one is the full suite, and this one does not include the database program, which is comparable to Microsoft Access. In my case, I don't use Microsoft Access now, so I'm going to install this one. Here, just click on the Install button. Well, before we continue, here we can see that some extra packages will be installed, and these are actually the packages that are missing in our current installation. These 5 libraries the installer will also upgrade our current LibreOffice suite. I'm not going to proceed with this method because I also want to show you how you can do it in case you are using a different Linux distribution. So if I continue with this installation now, I wouldn't be able to show you the second method. If you hit enter in this window, the installation will proceed. Here I have cancelled it. Now, if you have this version of antiX and want to use this first method, you could just continue with this installation, and the ODT error should disappear. In case you have a different Linux distribution, you could just do it the manual way using the terminal. We first upgrade the package repositories. We use sudo to run as administrator to be able to run commands as root, and apt update will refresh the repository contents to retrieve the latest list of available packages. And then we install the missing LibreOffice packages this way. If you see here, these are the same 4 libraries plus this one, a total of 5 libraries that will be installed. So I'm going to proceed with this installation now, and this will fix the error when saving documents in ODT format. So now that we have installed the missing libraries, let's test our solution. We'll try to save a text document in ODF format and see how it goes. This time, the document was saved with no errors. We now have the first document we saved in docx format and this document in ODT format. So installing the missing libraries has resolved the ODT error. And now, if you want to change the default language in LibreOffice, let me show you how you can do that. And that is our second topic. We can change the language of all the menus in the LibreOffice user interface by installing a language pack. This will also add an option in the lower part to check spelling in a different language. To install a language pack, we have several methods available. One method is using the package installer. To do that, we just click here. And we search for the language name. I will install the one that does not include database. So I'm going to continue with this installation now, so you can see the complete procedure. We see here the actual name of the language pack that will be installed. In this case, we see the LibreOffice suite will also be upgraded. This is because the package installer detects there is a new version of LibreOffice in the repositories, so our LibreOffice will be upgraded. Let's hit enter. Alright. Here we can see it's installing the new version of the packages. And we see that is version 7.0.4, which is being installed. We can exit the package installer now, and let's go ahead and check our installation. The user interface is still in English because my system language is set to English. If your system is set to the same language as the installed language pack, LibreOffice will detect that and it will automatically show you all its menus in that language. In this case, it would be Spanish. We can also manually select the language for the user interface. If we go to Tools, then we go to Options, and in the Language Settings section, here we will see all the languages we have available for the user interface, and here is where we can manually change the language for our user interface. I'm going to change the user interface to Spanish. Here you can also select the default language for formats and for new documents. And once you restart LibreOffice, the new language will be applied. If we write something, we will have a spell checker options for the new installed language as well. If we click on the status bar, we see that the spell checker is set to English, but we can also choose our other language here. To be able to use the spell checker in a different language, it's not necessary that you change the user interface. So you can have your menus in one language, while you can still correct spelling in multiple languages. At this point, we have solved the error when saving ODT files, and we have installed the language pack. We use the package installer, but if you want, you can also install the language packs using the terminal. Let me just close this document. And let's clear this. In antiX, there's a small detail with language pack versions, because by default, it tries to install the language pack from stable repositories, and that is version 6.1.5. And if we try to install that version, it will give us an error because the versions of LibreOffice and the language packs are different. Now, in case you would like to install a language different than Spanish, maybe Italian, French, German, Portuguese, or some other language, you can do that by searching the specific package here, using APT search to find LibreOffice language packs. And here we are presented with all the language packs that are available for installation. If you see, what changes on the package names is just the last 2 to 4 letters, depending on the language name. For example, if you want to install Portuguese, here you have 2 options. In my case, I'm going to install the Spanish language pack, which package name ends in ES. Before we install it, let's see the version that would be installed by default if we made the installation directly here. And we use this command to see the candidate version alongside with all available versions. Here we can see which version would be installed. In this case, it is showing version 7 as the candidate version by default, because we previously installed the latest language pack using the package installer. But if we hadn't installed it, it would be showing us version 6.1.5 as the candidate version, which would give us an error when trying to install it because our LibreOffice version is newer. So in order to install version 7 this way, we would need to tell APT command that we want to use the backports repository instead. And we can do that by using the following command. This way, we will be able to install the language pack from that specific repository. And here, it didn't install anything because we already have that version installed. But in case you don't have it, you can install it this way. So with this, we cover these two items here, and also the installation procedure. We also saw how we can change the language on the user interface. And now we only have pending the extras. Did you know that you can have the offline help for LibreOffice in your language? By default, LibreOffice does not include the help documents, so you would need to go online in order to access them. If, for example, you want to read information about a function, or you want to know how to do certain things in LibreOffice, you can access the help here. Since right now we don't have the offline help installed, here we can only access it online. But if you want to access the help documents regardless of internet connection, you can do it. Let's go ahead and install the offline version of the help documents. The help pack name is very similar to language packs. And if you want to install help in other language, you can also find which ones are available this way. And we are going to narrow the search to see only help packs which names start exactly like this. We do this by putting this symbol in front of the package name when using search. Now, only help packs are showing in the search result. If you want to install the offline help in, let's say, English, we have here US English or British English available, and these are the package names. In this case, I will install help in Spanish, but if we try to install this version, it will give us an error, or in the best case, it will install an old version of the help because it's version 6. So we check again with the APT policy command and the package name. We see here that version 6.1.5 is the candidate version. However, in the Buster Backports repo, we have version 7 available. So we are going to do the same thing we did with the language packs. Using a /, we tell APT to use the Buster Backports repository. We hit enter. And let's see, we can access the offline help now. This will open your default web browser. The help documents are basically a local web page. Well, this covers the help item. And lastly, if you want, you can also enable the synonyms feature in LibreOffice. I'm going to install synonyms for Spanish. You can install them with this command. Like this, español. It's been installed now, so let's give it a try. And we see here the synonyms feature is now active, and here it's showing us the synonyms for the current word, in this case casas, which is Spanish for houses. I hope this was helpful. I'm FrecklesG, and hasta the next video.